you're hot, how about a kiss, baby? Works every time.
Wait. Just wait. Just wait!
Sony wants to buy WB, which would include Mortal Kombat. What would that future look like? I'm not sure, but a longtime Mortal Kombat developer is now in charge of the gaming division at WB, so that could absolutely be good news. However, at this point, nobody is sure which game is coming next for NetherRealm. So what does the future hold for Mortal Kombat, and also NetherRealm Studios? Things are somehow looking dire and optimistic at the same time, because Sean Hemrick is now Vice President of Development, and as mentioned earlier, he's a longtime Mortal Kombat developer, which could be fantastic news since he's worked on Mortal Kombat games for decades, even before NetherRealm was formed. That's right, Sean Hemrick predates NetherRealm Studios. He's been working on the games for that long, I think all the way back to Deadly Alliance. So having someone near the top who's worked on Mortal Kombat games for that long could definitely be great news. In fact, I'm just gonna say it, we might finally get the sexy costumes back, because the 3D era was famous for big sex appeal. It's when we got this famous commercial.
I'm Jade from Mortal Kombat. I'm 36, 24, 36. And I'm a Scorpio. I've got the brains, the brawn, and the polygons to win this thing.
And it's also when the Melina Playboy incident happened. So yeah, those classic costumes might return in greater numbers because Sean is now in charge and he's been working on the game since the 3D era when everyone understood how important sex appeal is for fighting games. So that's definitely one reason to get excited. Oh, and also Sean worked on Shaolin Monks too, so maybe we could get a remaster of that game at some point in the near future. I don't think we're ever gonna get a sequel, sadly, because reality is often disappointing, and despite how revered those games are, I doubt they would sell very well in the modern gaming landscape. However, I do think more remasters are on the way, because recently the Mortal Kombat Legacy was announced, and that proves that publishers still have faith in Mortal Kombat games going forward. In fact, if the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection sells well, I think the 3D games could be remastered as well, which would be fantastic because those are the games I grew up with in my childhood. I know many of you watching grew up with the original games, Mortal Kombat 1 through Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and maybe also Mortal Kombat 4, but for me, the 3D Mortal Kombat games are the era that I grew up with, so I would love if those games got a remaster collection similar to the Legacy collection that's coming out. That would be fantastic, because I never got to play Deception or Armageddon on the Nintendo console, so I'm curious what they were like. So if Mortal Kombat Legacy does sell really well, then maybe I can get a remaster of those 3D era games. However, don't guilt yourself into buying the collection for that reason. I just want to mention that real quick because I'm seeing quite a few people saying that online, that you have to buy the Legacy collection because if you don't, we're gonna miss out on the 3D era games getting remastered and possibly Mortal Kombat 9's remaster as well somewhere down the line. I don't think that's right. Don't guilt people into buying the Legacy collection because it could give us a better chance at the 3D era collection. That's simply not fair. People should only buy a game if they're interested in it, not for the potential releases that could come later on. So for everyone watching this video, only buy the Legacy collection if you want to. Although I do understand where people are coming from because Capcom did something similar with the Darkstalkers collection, and it does haunt me to this day. Many of you watching might not know what Darkstalkers is because the game series has been dead for a while, but Capcom teased the series coming back. They said Darkstalkers is not dead, but instead of a sequel, they gave us a collection of the original Darkstalkers games, which was cool, but a lot of people weren't interested, and as a result, that collection did not sell very well. And then Capcom says later, well, we were gonna make a Darkstalkers sequel if the collection sold well, but it didn't, so you don't get a sequel. Boo-hoo, too bad, so sad. And man, that sucks. Capcom, that is not how you should do things. If you think people want a sequel, then make a sequel. Don't release a Legacy collection of games that have been around for 20 plus years and say, oh, people didn't care about that, so they don't want a sequel. Anyways, I bring that up because I think Mortal Kombat fans are scared for a similar reason. They worry if we don't buy the Legacy collection, that we're not gonna get a 3D era remaster. Which could be true, honestly, it it could be true, but even so, I don't think gamers should feel compelled to buy one game because it could make another game more likely. And I just wanted to say that real quick, along with a Gamer Supps announcement, because a big drop is happening now. A new waifu character, new cups, new merchandise, all that incredible stuff. And these new additions tend to sell out really quickly, so act now. Check out my link down below to get 10% off and buy this new stuff as soon as possible if you want it, because it sells out really quick. Gamer Supps is a longtime supporter of my channel and just gaming channels in general, so make sure to check them out if you haven't already. There's tons of cool stuff there, not just the waifu cups and powdered energy drinks. There's also soup, there's mouse pads, there's really cool mugs and pixel cups, all that incredible stuff. Even I myself own a lot of Gamer Supps swag because I just think it looks cool, from the cups to the shirts, and the soups are pretty tasty as well, so I like their stuff and I want you all to try them out too. Use my link to get a discount, and also any purchase you make supports the channel directly, so it's an absolute win. Alright, back to the video. As mentioned earlier, Sony is considering buying WB Discovery. It used to be WB Games, now it's WB Discovery, and I think recently the gaming division got split as well. It's fragmented, and apparently Sony is looking to buy the gaming division of WB, or possibly the entire thing. You never really know with these multi-billionaire companies. They can buy pretty much whatever they want, so if Sony wants all of WB Discovery, they could have it. However, I think right now they're mainly interested in the gaming division, so what would that mean for Mortal Kombat games going forward? Honestly, it's a mixed bag. There's good and bad things that could come from this. Sony is a big company, which means way more funding for the Mortal Kombat games. Or in other words, we could see a bump in the gaming quality, whether it's graphics or the servers actually being there when the game launches, the game's just being more complete in general because they have more funding. That's definitely one possibility and could be an upside if Sony does buy Mortal Kombat. However, there's also some severe downsides that could potentially happen, like Mortal Kombat becoming console exclusive. That's right, if you owned any other consoles like Xbox or Nintendo Switch, you might miss out on Mortal Kombat sequels. Now, PC players would still get access, so that's one plus. And sometimes Sony does not force games to go console exclusive, but they did with Street Fighter. Street Fighter V was console exclusive only on the PlayStation, and that sucked. Not for me personally, because I already owned a PS4. I think a lot of people did around then. It was just the superior console. However, everybody else missed out, and I don't want that to happen. Now, thankfully, Street Fighter 6 is not console exclusive, so even if Sony did buy Mortal Kombat and made the next game console exclusive, chances are the game after that would be for everybody. At least fingers crossed that happens. And of course, the best case scenario is that Sony never makes the Mortal Kombat games exclusive, because that would divide the fan base, and of course everybody would hate that. My main point is that Sony buying WB Discovery is not all good. There could be some detrimental things that happen if they own the rights to Mortal Kombat games going forward. Plus, Sony is also known for rushing their games out the door. It happened with God of War and plenty of other games they own the rights to. And with that said, Mortal Kombat games are no stranger to being rushed out the door. Look what happened with Mortal Kombat 1. The reason that game launched without a lot of the online content and a lot of stuff unfinished, overall the game was in a very incomplete state. That's because they were rushed out the door by WB. But once again, I'm just pointing out how Sony owning Mortal Kombat could be detrimental. I mean, look how fast they killed the new Spider-Man series. That was incredible in an ironic way, right? I'm not happy it happened, but look how fast the Sony Spider-Man game went from amazing and everyone loved it to, oh my god, they killed it and I don't care about the sequel. The speed at which that series died is incredible, although could it be Insomniac's fault also for the terrible writing and weird story choices? Yes, definitely so. Oh yeah, one more thing worth mentioning is the censorship. For some reason, Sony just loves censorship. And if you don't believe me, just look what they did to Devil May Cry 5, mainly the cutscenes. If you own that game on PlayStation, you likely noticed how the cutscenes are ever so tweaked in subtle ways that no other console did, even the American ones, which is funny because lately America is the king of censorship. But Sony themselves are also infamous for censoring things, especially their video games. Sometimes not even their video games, but a video game that's on their console, they will tweak it and censor it. Which of course would also be terrible for Mortal Kombat, because that series is known for not being censored. There's gore, there's blood, there's sex appeal, and it's all in your face. The Mortal Kombat series is famous for lacking censorship, although in recent years it definitely has been censored, likely by its own developers and publishers. So if Sony did buy the rights and suddenly take the wheel, then I guess not much would change in that department, but nobody wins if that happens, I'm just saying. So Sony owning Mortal Kombat could be good for the increased funding and all that stuff, but also bad for all the reasons I just mentioned. Like mentioned earlier at the start of this video, the future of Mortal Kombat is both optimistic and dire at the same time. I could see the series going in both directions. On the one hand, Sean Hemrick is in charge now, a longtime developer of Mortal Kombat games who predates NetherRealm Studios studios and worked with the series all the way back on Deadly Alliance. That's certainly good news and a reason to get excited and be optimistic. And Mortal Kombat Legacy is also great news. It shows that publishers aren't afraid to re-release the older Mortal Kombat games. We're getting all the classic games on every console. That's incredible. And it could mean the 3D era is gonna get remastered very soon as well, along with maybe Mortal Kombat 9. That would be fantastic. So many good things are possible in the future. But then you have Sony looking to buy WB, and also WB Discovery is getting fractured already amongst itself. It's splitting divisions, both of which are not good in my personal opinion. There could be positives there, but to me it's overall a negative if those things happen. In other words, I personally don't want Sony to buy Mortal Kombat, but hey, maybe they could prove me wrong and bring us the best Mortal Kombat games to ever happen in a long time. Please let me know any and all of your thoughts on this topic in the comments down below. I really do want to hear it. Let's make this video super interactive. Post your thoughts and comments down below, and also reply to other people's comments. Let's get a big discussion going. I want to hear your thoughts on this subject. Because as for me, that's about it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.